Hey everyone, it's Denise and welcome back. Today we are at Sunshine Tidings Co-op and I'm going to be doing a tutorial to show you how I decorate and stack things on these shelves, especially the small medicine bottles. This was requested by a subscriber named Jan, and so I wanted to put this out there for her. So hi Jan, and for anyone else that might be interested in how I decorate with smaller items, I did do some other decoration videos before. If you all want to take a look at those as well, I'll put links in the description for those videos. And also I just want to say real quick that for those of you who still have a build left over from the 900 subscriber special, I only have about 4 left to do. I'm still working on those, so I didn't want you to think that I have abandoned you or anything. So with that, let's go on ahead and get this started. I put a few items here in the in my inventory, and so I guess we'll just start with Buffout because I think this is one of the smaller bottles that kind of is annoying for people. One of the things I do also is I try to get myself into a place where I have lots of room. Nothing else is around. Now sometimes I do leave my decoration to do at the last minute, so this isn't always possible, but if you can do it this way, it might make it easier for you to just give yourself lots of space. Make sure you have plenty of room to back up and go forward and go from the side or whatever, and drop about, I would say, 6 to 8 items on the floor. And as you know, if you're on the Xbox One like I am, you just hold A. You know how it says A to take, so you would hold down that button to pick up the item, and then use your left and right triggers to rotate it frontwards and backwards. And then if you want to rotate it all the way around, you push in on the left stick, kind of like a button, like you're pushing a button. And then when you do that, it changes its what do you call it, the axis or whatever. It changes the direction it's going to tilt. So I'm always wanting it to tilt from the front to the back like this. So that's the easiest, because the less tilting you have to do manually, the better. So the way that this bottle is right now is perfect. This is the way you want it to look. Okay, and so you would just take it up here, because you know, as you lift it up in the air, it'll change. So you always want it to be front facing and going front and backwards like that. And just stick it up there and make sure it's all the way back up against the wall, which you can come over here and look at it. Now the rest of these dropped down pretty perfectly, exactly the way I want them, with all the labels facing out front. But normally if stuff drops down not front facing forward I'm getting tongue-tied here, then I take the item into workshop mode and make sure it's facing forward and standing up. That way it saves you less grief on tilting, you know, when you're trying to get it up on that shelf, because I'll show you here in a second what I'm talking about. When you lift the item up, it changes, you know. So here I'm going to hit A, and so see, as I'm raising it, it's starting to turn towards the bottom. So then when you try to put it up here, you're like, what is going on? So that's why you want to push in the button on the left stick and make sure it is going not those ways, but going like this. That way, you know, if it changes while you're going up there, then you can just straighten it out while it's going. Okay, it's going. It's almost there. And voila. And you're saying, oh, it's not, you know, it's not right up against it. It's not perfect. But you know, you can get up here real close like this, and then see, now it's just touching it like that. Okay, so I knocked this bottle over, that's fine. And when you do that, it won't let you go back in workshop mode and stand it back up straight, so we will have to twist that one or pick it up and re-drop it again. So here we go again with the Buffout. We're just gonna push it right in there, and as you saw when I pushed it in there, it kind of moved these other two over a tad, but that's okay. I mean, it's not hanging off or anything, but that's kind of, I think, what people are having problems with, because they'll pick this up and they'll put it up here and it'll bump or knock into the rest of them and they'll all go flying. So just as you can, I've done it for a long time, so I can pick it up pretty quickly and put it up there pretty quickly, because I've been doing it a long time. But really what you want to do is just take it real slow, and you'll get this where it starts that shimmery stuff. So I just pick it up and re-drop it again. And so yeah, just take your time, go slow. You know, if you're the type of person that gets annoyed very easily, I just make sure that, you know, in your personal settings at home, maybe that you're not getting disrupted by phone calls or, you know, guests or anything like that, kind of in your own little world, you know, that you can concentrate in. Maybe that might help too. I notice I decorate. The decorating goes a lot easier for me if I'm streaming live and I have some people in there to talk to me. You know, that seems to help me, because when I decorate, it's such a long and tedious process that I get kind of lonesome and bored. You know, even though I do love decorating, you know, after 3 or 4 hours of doing this, you're kind of like, oh, I need someone to tell me that I'm not crazy and I'm doing a good job or something. So here we go again. It's you know, front facing there. Just, you'll have to eyeball it. This is why I like stacking on these type of shelves that have a backing, because it gives you a guide, you know, as to how far to push that item back, and it helps you know, align everything as well. That's not to say you can't decorate on shelves that have no backing, but it's just, it's going to be harder to get them on there real straight like this. And they have more chances to hop off the shelves as well, because the shelf obviously is more open and doesn't have a backing or sides or anything like that. Now this shelf doesn't have any sides, but it has the backing. So if you get something like the bookshelf where you've got both sides and backing, then hey, you're doing really good there. The only thing about the bookshelf is their shelves are not as high, you know, as these. You can fit pretty big items in there So the bookshelves though work really good for this medicine, the Buffout and stuff. And also on the bookshelf, if you didn't want to, it won't even let you, because the shelves are so shallow or not very high. You don't have to double stack or even triple stack. So working with the bookshelf might be even better for you. Now you're wondering maybe how do you stack these? Well, what I like to do is I like to get a good first row going first. So we have, I think, a couple more bottles we can fit on there, but you want to get a strong first row going, and then you always want to work from the back to the front. So if you're going to stack, make sure you start stacking before you start doing the front rows, because what's going to happen is it'll cause even more bumping up against each other. And you know, if you have a shaky hand that day, see, I pushed the whole row over, which is fine. It's still, I mean, it's going off the edge just a teeny bit, but that's fine. If you're having a shaky hand that day or whatnot, then you know, that could mess up the entire thing. So let's see if we can fit this one last bottle up here. There we go. Okay. So there we go. We fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bottles. Okay, so that means that we've got 10 left. We'll stack it 2 high and then 3 high. On just an example here. So you would take it and just, make sure it's all the way back to the back. It's touching the back now. And so just lower it down. And it'll do that shimmery thing sometimes. If you just grab it again and drop it again, it'll quit doing that. But that's also a feature too that can really mess you up, is that shimmery shaky deal that it does. So got them going frontwards here, and put the next one down the same way. It's touching the back, so just bring it down and then let go. It's doing the shimmery thing again, so let's pick it up, make sure it's all the way to the back, and then just drop it. Picking up this one, make sure it's rotating front to back. Walking up to it, pushing it all the way to the back, and then just lowering it and release A. Okay, so let's pretend like we stacked the rest of the entire second row there. Let's pretend that we did that. And we'll go ahead and do the third one, which is done in the exact same way. But because you have 2 rows below, you're going to have to be a little bit more steady-handed to make sure you don't bump anything. So it's a little bit more scary the higher you stack, because it's a lot more risky. So here we go. Make sure it's going front to back. That's not exactly perfect, so let me just adjust it here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so here we go. We're going right back up. So see, make sure it's high above it. That way you're not tempted to bump into anything else. Push it all the way to the back, and then just kind of slide it down there and hit A to release. Same thing. This one. I'm kind of hoping I'll make a mistake so you all can see how I fix it. Oh, there we go. I made a mistake. Cool. See how that one bumped into those and knocked those down, but you're sitting there going, oh man, hey, it only knocked down 2, So you're still in good shape. You're still in good shape. So here's how you would fix it. Just get everything put back down here. Now this one is still up there. So let's see if we can pick that one up. Straighten this guy up. Push him back in there. Release A. And here, why don't we do this? Let's go like this. Move this little guy over. Fill in that space. And then you're back in business again. So, see, even I make mistakes, which I'm sure my friend On a Whim Di is gonna get a kick out of that, because she's always wanting me to make mistakes while I'm decorating. So there you go, Dee. I hope you get a kick out of that. So just rebuilding this little second part here. Now sometimes it won't straighten up for you, so just drop it and it'll straighten itself up. Pick it up again and just move it over. Okay, same with the third one here. Here we go. All the way to the back. Drop. And so what you do is do the second row all the way across. Okay, then do the third one all the way across, and then just keep moving forward the same one. Do the first single row then the second, then the third. Come forward again. If it'll take another row, you know, I think it'll only do 2 rows. If you wanted to risk a third row, you could, going out this way, and then 3 up. So yeah. Now, with a small item like this, I would never try to stock something like that on this bottom big shelf. Now that would just be, I mean, I could do it, of course, but it would take a very, very long time and a lot of Buffout. These big parts down here below, I always try to put something big down there, either a big junk decor item that I can hand stock, or like a chest, some toolboxes, something like that, or something that fits in with the theme that you're trying to do. Maybe like what I did on mine was I put microscopes down there because it was going to be, you know, a medical facility. So you want, you know, or you could put like biometric scanners down there, or maybe some test tube racks, or, you know, just a bigger item that's going to fill in this bottom part. Some Vault Tech chests or crates down there would look good. You know, anything medical type stuff down there. So let's try to go on to the next one, which is really annoying. The Day Tripper is probably like the smallest bottle maybe in the game. I don't know. Or close to it. And some of you may be thinking, well, can't you just take the workshop mode and stick it up there like this? And the answer is yes, but then you get it hopping up and down onto other shelves. And sometimes it'll go on there, but it's so close to the edge, it'll go on ahead and fall off anyways. It's technically not even on the shelf. So that's one reason why I don't use workshop mode to actually put the stuff on the shelves. So same concept, you just want to pick it up and push it all the way to the back. And these bottles, the thing about them is they're so weird to stack. Because the top is not as big and flat as the Buffout is, it takes a little bit more finagling and finesse to stack them on top of each other. So, same thing, make sure it's tilting from front to back like that. And put it up there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take a couple of them and try to stack them here so you can kind of see what I'm saying of their annoyances. Ooh, that one dropped perfect. Pick that one up. And it's hard to see too, the tops of those, even though they're orange, they're kind of hard to see. So see, they'll go on there, but they're just not as sturdy when they're stacked as like the Buffout is. So any little movement or anything will cause them to go flying, because they're a lot lighter weight too than the Buffout. And so you can actually tell the weight of these once you start using these items and decorating with them. You can tell like how much they weigh, you know, by how well they still stay on the shelves, and how easily they are to bump or move. Gives you an idea of their weight and their flimsiness and their, you know, what they're kind of made of. See how I stacked that one on there, but it's getting stacked offset. So here I am getting real close to try to really, but it's got a little bit of a collision issue. As you can see, you can't really butt these up next to each other like you could the Buffout. There's a little bit of a as you can see, there's a space between each one. Which, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but for people that like to get things real close to each other, see, the collision on it is just really strange. So that makes these a little bit more annoying and difficult to work with. It's possible, of course, because you saw that I stacked them like, what, 3 or 4 high and 2 or 3 out, so the whole thing was filled, but it was not easy at all. It was very time consuming. The alcoholic bottles are like that too. They're very weird to mess with. Now here's an item that is differently shaped, and you can use this to decorate in 2 different manners. You can take the mentats and stack them, you know, like this. Stack them up like this. And stack, you know, all the way up to the top. But then people wouldn't see the front of it, which says mentats. So sometimes what I like to do is stack them in this manner in the back row, and then once I have, you know, them stacked up there, then the front row I'll stack in this manner where it's standing up so people can see what they are. Or you can just stack them all like this and, you know, going like this where they're all front facing. Of course, flat stacking I think is a lot easier than front facing, but depending on what you want to do or what you want it to look like, you can. Now if you wanted to get even funkier with this, you could stack them going vertical as well. You could stack them going like this. Whoops. I've never tried this way before, but you could do it this way if you wanted to. Or, you know, if you don't like stacking stuff on a shelf and you like it to look more like, oh, they just threw some stuff up there and they didn't care, then you can just go like that, you know, and just throw it. That's what I call the Potema way of decorating. She did a decorating video a while back where she just threw stuff in a display case like this and threw some stuff around, and stuff was all over the floor, and it was funny. But it just depends on what y'all want to do. That's why I was building those bins and stuff, because, you know, you can just throw stuff in these bins like that and you don't have to stack or put anything on a shelf. Now there's some people that just like to say, okay, well, yeah, Denise, this is cool and everything, but I really don't want to do all that. And so what they would rather do is just, you know, like, here's some mentats thrown there, stick this guy there, stick a couple of these on there, and maybe a stem pack or 2, and they'll call this shelf good. And that's fine too. I mean, there's lots of different ways to decorate. I'm just showing you the way that I decorate. And this mostly stems from the many years I worked in retail, where if you're redoing a whole aisle of merchandise, this is the way they want it to look. They want it to be perfectly stacked, front facing, you know, so that the customer can easily get to the item and they can see it, and of course see how much it costs or whatnot. So that's kind of where this stems from. But yeah, either or, this way of decorating the shelf or this way, it's totally up to you guys. Let's see if I can find some more other items to give an example of here. Let's see. Here's a good flat facing one that you can always stock fairly easily. Of course, you could do this like the Mentats. So you could either stack it going front facing, coming out like this, you know, which would actually take less board games, or you can stack them flat facing like that, which would take more games, but they're easier to stack going this way. And see this, I usually stack these blast radius down here because the shelf is a little bit wider down here than that one. So, oops, I'm getting a little bit of lag here. There we go. Now, one trick also I like to use, let's say that for whatever reason, because of maybe your positioning or whatever, you're not able to scoot an item all the way back to the back. Just take another item like this and use it to push it back. I use that a lot to make sure everything is pushed back if I can't reach it to get back there. Yeah, there's a couple of those. I get asked a lot about the paint as well. How did you get all those paint cans up there? And the paint cans are another item that has strange collision because of the handle that's on the side. That handle there. So what I try to do is, you know, if you want to do it front facing where it says blue paint, you're going to have your handle going towards the back. So set it up there, and usually paint will only go on there one deep. So meaning a 2 deep, you won't be able to make a second row coming out this way. So you're usually able to stack it, you know, higher, especially if you put it on this top shelf. So let's go ahead and put it up here so we can stack them. So there the handle is facing towards the back. In fact, I think this one has a handle that's tore off. I think it's the yellow one that has the handle that gives us so many problems. The yellow and the red one. Maybe the green one too, I don't remember. Let me just get down here. Good Lord, I didn't know I had this much stuff in here. Well, goodness, go faster, go faster. There we go. Oh, no, yellow paint. So it's the yellow one that has the full handle on there. And this can create a problem because it's going to bump into the other cans of paint and cause problems. So that prevents you from getting them too close together, but it can still be worked around. So putting this one up here, I usually like to try to face them to the back, but sometimes you could see like, oh, there's room for one more paint can on the end, and then you'll try to put it up there and it won't go because of that doggone handle. So let's see what it's going to do here. I can't remember. Oh, it will go. Okay, good. So it's just, and see, it's not going all the way back because of that handle. You can see like it's not up against that wall in the back at all. So we try to push it back even further and it just won't go because of that handle. So same deal here as with the medicine bottles. Just pick up your paint can, make sure it's, you know, it's tilting the correct way. This one is a little bit off, so I'm going to push the button in on the left stick. It's still not going the right way. Try it again. So even though it's facing the correct way, it's just not wanting to go. There we go. Okay. Sometimes you have to fiddle with it for a second. Make sure it's all the way back up against the back boarding. And you're like, oh, it's not on there straight. So if you want to pick it up again and try it again. There we go. That's a little bit better. Oops, come here. Paint can, where are you going? Okay. And then just plop it down. Now obviously on this one you would not want to go 3 high. 2 high is already going a little bit above the shelf line, but that's okay. I usually try not to stack above that shelf line. So let's see if there's anything else I can find that would be helpful to stack. Oh, these clocks will stack. Let's try some of these. And they're pretty good. They don't cause that many problems. So, okay, it's facing frontwards. Perfect. Okay, it's tilting the right way, the way we want it, frontwards to backwards. Okay. You can always come up here and look and see if you've got them straight. Those are looking pretty straight. Okay, now let's see. We've got a little bit of room up there to double stack, so let's do it. Stick it up there. It's going front to back like we want it to be tilted. We're going to push it all the way back up against that back boarding and drop it. Same thing. There we go. And you'll see that, you know, after you start doing this for a while, you'll get a little bit faster, a little bit more steady with it. You know, I think it's just like anything else that we do in life. You know, it's you know, the more you practice at it and the more you do it, the better you get at it and the more faster you get at it. So it's just one of those things. Still, there's people out there that just refuse to do this kind of decorating, and that's fine. I'm just showing you you know, how I do this, and maybe it will be helpful for some of y'all. So there we go. That's about all I can think of, guys. I have no idea how long this video has gone so far, so I will go ahead and end it there. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to see me stack or stock in particular, or if I missed out on anything. So yeah, I appreciate y'all watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye bye.